I'm Megan, and thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. This will be a shorter practice, and I call it the magic release for the neck. It is a bit magical, but what it really is it's not magic. It is what we call a nerve gliding or nerve flossing. So a lot of times when we have neck pain, it has to do not so much with the muscles themselves being strained, but the muscles creating compression on a nerve. And that's what we call nerve impingement. So it doesn't feel good, but this is a really simple movement that you can do to help to release some of that nerve impingement if that's going on. This practice, this glossing will work with our legs. And I'd really prefer, if you can, to sit up against a wall because it's going to help us to find our true center in our spine. And also, you're either going to want bare feet with a slippy floor, which is what I have. If you don't have a slippy floor, put some socks on because we want to be able to slide and glide our legs. So let's get started. If you can, come up against a wall and just gently take the base of your spine, your sacrum, and the base of your head to the wall. So we're finding our center point there, just letting your head rest on the wall. Take a few breaths. My knees are bent, and I'm going to begin to walk my feet in towards my body. Once my feet are a little bit closer to the body, I'm just going to gently hug my legs wherever it feels good. And then allow yourself to drop the head off the wall, just like gravity. Have its way with you and fall forward. You can even let your forehead rest on your arms. Just rest there and breathe. Imagine breathing to your back body, even the base of the neck, the base of the skull. Notice how you still feel maybe a little bit of your low back touching the wall. And then very slowly, so this is our assessment first, you'll very slowly begin to lift your head up. And we're going to take the head as high as we can, our gaze, as high as you can towards the ceiling without forcing it. So my arms are relaxed. I'm going to begin to lift up. As soon as I feel forced or strained, I'm going to stop. Then stop at that gazing point. And kind of make a mental note of where your eyes land on the ceiling. So our neck, our cervical spine is in a bent position. We call it extension. And we're just seeing where that range of motion is because this specific movement, slowly release the neck back to center, let the head come back on the wall. This movement will help us to perhaps increase the mobility of the neck into that extended position. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take just one leg out long. We'll do the left leg first. Take it out in front of you. Give it a little shake out. Keep your back supported by the wall. Feel your foot, and we're going to take the foot into what's called plantar flexion. So you're going to reach the sole of the foot forward and squeeze the toes towards the sole of the foot. So you'll feel a tightening across the entire bottom of the foot. And just do that and release. And squeeze. So that's the plantar fascia of the foot. Squeeze, pull the toes towards the sole of the foot, release. Notice what's tightening on the bottom, but also what's lengthening through the top of the ankle. You might also sense how the calf muscle has a role in this tightening, and the shin muscle stretches. So we're going to start to get into those nerves. And then the other movement we do is you're going to slide the leg in. This is where you want the slippery socks, to just about where the knee is not quite over the ankle, just to where it's comfortable. And then press the ball of the foot into the ground and lift the toes up. Really simple, right? And then release them. So ball of the foot gently pressing into the ground, maybe even the heel. Lift and spread the toes. And just try that a few times. Notice what you feel through the sole of your foot. That little stretching, you might feel your shin tighten. And then release. So let's begin taking those, alternating the movements. So you're going to slide your foot out, squeeze the toes, reach the ankle forward, the plantar flexion. Slide the foot in, press into the ball of the foot, lift the toes. So there's some that will tell you that the toe creases correlate with the neck, with our ability to flex and extend the neck. and that's why we're working specifically with the toe creases. But that has to do with the nerves. Now that we found the movement with the foot, we're going to add the head into this. So the reason why I'm using wall is that the head motion that we do as we're reaching the foot forward and squeezing the toes is more of a tilt of the nose. So what I don't want to do, I'm going to turn sideways, what I don't want to do is take my head off the wall and let the whole head fall forward. I want to lengthen the back of the neck by just simply tilting the nose down. So it's not a drop forward, just a lengthen. Okay? So use that wall, keep your skull on the wall if that's comfortable. And then release that completely. Slide the foot in. Now when you press into the sole of the foot and lift the toes, slightly lift your head up. So feel the front of the throat open, relax the jaw. I also find this helps to relax my jaw and my face, and release. So we're going to continue with that movement pattern. Extending the leg, reach the toes and the ankle forward, bring the nose towards the chest, release, slide the foot in, press into the ball of the foot, lift the toes, lift the head. So notice how you're increasing that cervical bend in the back of the spine, and release. Just doing a few more of those on your own. You can hold it as long as you'd like. So it's like we're gently tugging at the end of the nerves that run all the way from the neck down to the feet. Take one more. And then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to look in the opposite direction. So now as you slide the foot out and you squeeze the toes, I want you to take your gaze up towards the sky. So now it's like we're gently tugging on it, both ends of the nerves. And release that. Slide the foot in, press into the ball of the foot, lift the toes, and bring the chin down or nose down like you're trying to look at your toes. You want to see your toes lifting and spreading and releasing. So same movement for the foot. You're looking away from your toes though now, so your toes and your head are reaching away from each other. And then releasing, bending the knee, lifting the toes, looking down towards the toes. And there's a whole thing, what we call body mapping, where your brain is kind of paying attention to where you are in space, where we want to learn to move from our nose as opposed to our chin. Because if we move from our nose, we're moving from our skull, and it's easy for our body to map, easier for our body to map where we are. Take one or two more there. So you're looking the opposite direction, wherever the toes are reaching forward. Toes lift, and we want to take a look at them. So I have another movement that I do with this that gets a little bit more into the sides of the neck. You'll notice we're just doing the front of the throat and the side of the neck. So this next one, you're going to lengthen your foot, and we're going to do what's called inversion. So if you think of the big toe side of your foot, the arch of your foot, your inner calf, you're going to draw the big toe side of the foot towards the inner calf. That's inversion of the ankle, and then release. Just do that a few times, especially if this is a new movement for you. Complete release. So I'm not dropping my leg so much, I'm really trying to keep my leg still and make this an ankle movement. Once you've found that inversion, notice what we're now doing is stretching out the peroneal muscle in the outer calf and also the nerve. We're tightening the inner calf. And then we can add on to this. Once you find that stretch, start to slide the heel towards you, so that's external rotation of the hip. You get a nice hip movement too. Slide it towards you. And then imagine trying to look at the bottom of your foot. It's my toilet paper on the bottom of the foot check. But look at the bottom of your foot, and you'll feel how the side of your neck gets a nice stretch. And then you can lift the head back up, slide the foot out. Let's do that a few more times. Draw inward with the sole of the foot. Slide it in. Let the head tilt like you're trying to take a good look at the bottom of your foot. Nice little hip opening, inner thigh stretch. and slide it back out, always coming back to the center. You can realign using the wall. Let's do one more there. Looking at the sole of the foot, coming back out. The next one we do is eversion of the ankle and the foot. So if you think of your pinky toe side, you can draw your pinky toe side towards the outer calf. So that's that tightness in the outer calf and the peroneal muscle. So do that, just that a few times, drawing it in and releasing. And we're just noticing what that feels like for the toes, the sole of the foot, calf muscle. You have to remember all these nerves. They have to start in our brain. They have to go to our brain and through our spinal cord, our central nervous system, and all the way down to the feet. So now once we found that, if it's comfortable for your hips, what we would do is draw the foot in, and now we're going to internally rotate the thigh. So the last one was externally rotating. Internally rotate the thigh and start to bring the foot to the outside, and again, try to look at the foot. So if your range of mobility won't allow you to come all the way here, that full internal rotation, then just try pulling that pinky toe towards your shin, and you can even just dive here. All we're looking for is that stretch through the right side of the neck. So you can try to look at the sole of the foot this way with the leg still long, or if it's available, draw that foot in, internally rotate the thigh, take it over, and then look for that piece of gum on the bottom of your shoe. Lift the head back up, slide it back out. So again, you get a nice hip movement too. Pinky toe, internally rotate if you're doing that. Look at the sole of the foot, enjoy that stretch through the right side of the neck, shoulders relaxed. Slide it back out. Do one more on your own if you'd like. Maybe you're just doing that. And take it back out. Okay. Let's take both legs out for a moment. Just shake them out. You can use the wall to hold yourself up. Pause. Feel your spine aligned. Your ears are over your shoulders and your shoulders over the hips. This is a nice way too to notice if we usually are walking around even slightly with our head forward. So sometimes our body mapping thinks we're in a good alignment, a nice posture, and that head's slightly forward. So if you're finding when you're on the wall that it feels like your head's way back, more than likely your body map keeps your head a little too far forward. But we're just pausing there. And then we're going to do the opposite side. So I'm going to bend into the left leg, let that left leg relax. We'll work with the right leg, simply taking it into the plantar flexion first. So reach like you're pushing on a gas pedal, reach the sole of the foot forward, stretch the front of the ankle, squeeze the toes towards the sole of the foot, and release. Just that first. Notice how much you can feel in your shin, the way your calf muscle's tightening, sole of the foot tightening. So let your brain take its gaze all the way down into your foot and your lower leg to feel that. One more there. And we'll try the other movement. So slide the foot in, maybe just to where the ankle's slightly in front of the knee. Press the ball of the foot down and lift the toes. Feel how the sole of the foot stretches. The shin tightens a little. And release. Just doing that a few times. So familiarize it from the periphery, from the far end of your body. It's pretty amazing that our brain can send these messages all the way to the far ends of our body. Be amazed. Be grateful. And then we'll do this in movement. So slide the foot out. Reach and tighten the toes. Relax completely. Slide it in. Press into the ball of the foot. Lift and spread the toes. Relax it. Slide it out again. Squeeze the toes, squeeze them towards one another and towards the sole of the foot. Notice your calf tightening. The Achilles in the back will tighten. Release. And slide it in and lift the toes. And then once we got the foot movement, let's add the head in. So the first one, we slide the foot out, reach in that plantar flexion, and as the toes reach, we bring the nose down towards the chest, so the back of the neck is lengthening. Stay there long enough to feel it, and then release it. slide it in, press the ball of the foot down, lift the toes, and also lift the head. Feel the throat open and stretch. Your jaw can just fall open. The curve in the back of the neck will increase. But you've got the wall to hold the weight of the head. Release, and go back and forth at your own pace with these two movements. You're looking at your foot as your leg extends, and you're looking away from your foot as your knee bends and your toes lift. He's doing a nice pandiculation. Did you see that? Dogs do it naturally. Someday I'll put a video together of all my animals when they pandiculate, including the chickens. Okay, so focusing back on your body. And once we found the movement where we're looking away from the toes as the toes lift, throat opens, the sole of the foot stretches. So correlate what's happening in the foot, what's happening in the neck. Then we'll do this last round here. Notice how the foot tightens, the throat tightens, and the back of the neck lengthens. And then just simply switch your gaze. So now as you slide out and tighten the foot, look away from the foot. So think of gently tugging the nerves at each end, at the foot and the head. And release. Slide the foot in, press into the ball, lift the toes, and then tuck the nose down towards the chest. Feel the back of the neck lengthen as the sole of the foot stretches. Shoulders relaxed. Release. And even though we're not doing the movement to the breath, just check in with your breath every now and again. Make sure it's smooth, comfortable. Full release. One way to stay in touch with your breath is remember to release on an exhalation. And take that full exhalation, the complete exhalation, to let go. Notice the way that your body is gently working for you. It's the activity on the inhale and releasing. Last one, finish it up for yourself. And it may take some time to find these patterns. They're new for us, which is all good. If it seems like you have to pay attention, that means you're rewiring your brain. We think that's good. Last one. And then relax. So now we're going to take that right leg long. Just shake it out for a moment. Feel the big toe side or the arch side of your right foot. You can sense it with your eyes opened or closed. And then draw that big toe side towards your calf, inner calf. So you feel that outer calf stretch, the tightening in the inner calf. You'll feel your outer ankle stretch too, and then release it. Just doing that a few times. The inversion of the ankle. Notice how you feel it in your foot. And you can move from your arch. You can move from the big toe. It might feel different depending on where you initiate the movement. And then if you'd like to add the second part of that movement, so if it wasn't comfortable to slide it again with this one, you can just look at the foot from here and drop. We just want to feel the stretch through the right side of the neck, like you're looking at your foot. But typically you might be able to externally rotate that thigh even just a little bit, slide it in, and look at the sole of the foot. Let the left ear drop, slide it back out, and relax. So start from the foot, that inversion of the foot, externally rotate the thigh, and then look for that piece of gum on the sole of your foot. Lift the head back up, slide it forward, relax. And I'm always using the wall to maintain my center of gravity. And that's something I watch too, is that my head doesn't come way forward when I drop it. I'm kind of trying to still let the head stay up on the wall just a little bit. Breathe into that length through the right side of the neck. Last one, invert. Externally rotate the hip, nice little hip movement. Feel your right side of the neck open up. and relax. So now we'll go the opposite way, the eversion. So if you feel the pinky toe side or visualize the pinky toe side of your foot, feel your outer calf and draw the pinky toes toward the outer calf. You can probably barely see it in my video. It's a very small movement, but small from maybe the standpoint of what you feel, but not for the nerves. They generally are not used to this movement pattern, so your brain is paying attention. It's something new, and it likes to learn. And once we found that movement of just the ankle and the foot, you can add, like you're trying to look at the sole of the foot, you drop your head to the right, you feel that stretch through the left side of the neck. You can do that with just your leg long. That's effective. Or if you'd like, draw the sole of the foot towards your outer calf, pinky toe side, and then we internally rotate the thigh bone and the hips, so think of it rolling inward. Slide it over, and then try to look at the sole of the foot. Take it back out, head at center, leg at center. And just taking your time, exploring. Sometimes one side has more mobility than the other. If you're trying to do this in shag carpeting, it's a little more work. One movement at a time. So there's lots of ways we use the energy in our body, and the two main ways are through movement and creating new movement patterns specifically. So learning, anytime the brain is learning, it's using a little more energy. So just stay awake and aware. Feel that stretch to the left side of the neck. Back out. Let's do one more. Roll that ankle out into the eversion. Slide your leg in. Let yourself try to look at the sole of the foot. So we have our metabolic energy, and this takes more of that if we stay focused and aware, and that's how we learn. Take your feet out. Just gently shake your legs out for a moment. Re-find your neutral spine, the support of the spine on the wall, wherever your arms want to be. You might even sense how your shoulder blades can touch the wall. Again, notice if it feels like you're pushing your head into the wall, your head feels far back, typically that's because you may walk around with your head slightly forward. So the wall can help us to find that center. We're going to do one last movement, and that's going to be to move the legs together. And this one I just like. I think it's freeing. It's a little bit easier moving both legs together. So we start the way we did with one leg. You're going to reach the soles of the feet forward, squeeze the toes, and you can bring the chin or the nose towards the chest. Think of tipping the skull forward and lengthening the back of the neck. And then release that. Slide the feet in. Press into the balls of the feet. Lift the toes. Lift the head. Just doing both at the same time. Release the toes, release the neck. Squeeze the toes, feel the soles of the feet tighten. Nose towards the chest. Back of the neck lengthens, throat is short. Release. Slide the feet in, press in, lift the toes, lift the neck. A nice way to stay present is to notice where is your skin stretching and where is it shortening or compressing. Because where we feel the skin doing those things, the rest of the body, including the nerves, is also either compressing or we're putting tension on those areas, which is the stretching. Last one, finish it up for yourself. Both legs, this slide and glide. And then this last one, keep the heels on the ground, knees bent, and just begin to let yourself fall forward like we did in the very beginning. Let gravity have its way with you. Fall forward. You can take your arms on your knees and rest your forehead somewhere on your upper arm bones. Fall and relax. Let your back round. Be conscious of the way your feet are touching the earth. Ground through your feet. Also be aware of the way that the base of your spine is close to the earth and supported by the earth. And the back of the neck is long and spacious, the base of the skull. And then when you're ready, begin to slowly lift the head up off the arms, just like we did in the beginning. You're going to take your gaze up as high as you can, once again towards the ceiling. Our end assessment. And see if you can recollect where your gaze was the first time we did this and where it is now. And for me, if I were to put a dot on the ceiling, my gaze is about 3 feet further towards the back of the room. That's how much further my neck went. Feeling that gentle curve without any force. And slowly bring the chin back. That is the neck magic trick. And thank you for joining me. I especially appreciate all my Patreon sponsors, as well as those of you that choose to donate privately to me. Keep watching. Every Saturday a new video comes out. Peace, joy, love, and light.